Hello there, and welcome to Stillness of Heart. My name is Zara Martirosyan, and this is the first episode of this podcast. And today I want to share with you something maybe not as groundbreaking because really it's common sense, but nevertheless, I feel that it's important to talk about it because as a strong woman, and God knows there are many strong women out there, we often forget how incredibly great it feels to be taken care of by a strong masculine man. And in my own case, I do have a certain inability to receive, ask for help. And this has been my approach to life pretty much all my life. And you can explain it through numerical psychology, through my date of birth. You can explain it through family constellations. Nevertheless, asking for something has never been easy for me, and I've been working on it. In my 20s, I would, when I still lived in Moscow, and every year we need to change our tires because once winter comes, you can't just drive around with this regular tires. You need to protect yourself to be able to drive on icy roads. So every year we would change our tires, and my tires weren't just the tires, but they were like the winter set, where was 4 tires with rims inside. So these were pretty bloody, heavy things. And I remember how myself, being a 20-something-year-old woman, I would put them in my boot. I didn't ask my cousin to help me or any of my male friends to help me because I knew I was a strong, independent woman and I can do it myself. Whether it's some household situations, I would sort it out. At the end of the day, if I do have a hammer and a nail, I can even do that, right? So sometimes we forget that, yes, we can do lots of things ourselves. We can even do heavy lifting, literally and figuratively. We can always get a cab on the way from the airport, because for a very long time, whenever a friend would ask me if I needed a lift to the airport or from the airport, I would be like, no, it's unnecessary. And it's been only very recently when I started saying yes to my dad whenever he's in town, when I travel to Yerevan, to Armenia, because I realized, okay, how many more times do I have with my dad when he can come and pick me up at the airport? These are precious moments. So accepting help has been something I worked personally for myself. And then this past Friday, I had quite a hectic day, so I didn't have time to eat properly. And in the evening, I had my gym session with a friend and PT of mine, Matt. And Matt is basically the epitome of a strong alpha male on many levels. He's incredibly successful in his career, in everything that he does. And being a PT is actually his side gig. So I went to have a session with him, and because I didn't have proper food, 30 minutes down the line, I realized that I can't do this anymore. And I hadn't been in the gym for 2 weeks. And Matt always goes hard on his clients. Well, at least on me, because he wants me to do better, right? So I realized that that's it. I'm done. And I couldn't really, I had a vertigo, my energy level dropped. And Matt offered me to go downstairs and get me a banana because he knew that a banana would fix me. And I said, no, don't worry about it. I will sort myself out. And then I went downstairs and went to the store. And at the store, I didn't have I was having a vertigo. I couldn't stand properly. I couldn't see properly. I really didn't have the energy to even go and look for that banana. So the old version of me would probably sit in the lobby of the building and wait for this condition to pass before I could make a move, call a cab, because even getting inside of a taxi wouldn't do much for me because I would probably get sicker. But the new version decided to ask for help because as strong as I am, I can always reach out to my friends. And God knows I have lots of very strong female friends that I could always reach out to. But it hit completely differently when I asked Matt to come and take care of me. So I called him. And of course, he immediately came down and went to the store and got me whatever I needed to consume to get better, and sat with me to make sure I was okay. And then, of course, he checked out a couple of times on my walk back home. That's actually when I realized what the right title of my podcast should be: Stillness of Heart. And you know what? It felt so incredibly great to be taken care of by a strong man, to really surrender and be in my feminine essence, not to try to sort out things, not to really go out there and fix myself, because I had someone who I could reach out to. And my suspicion was, and Matt can give this, do not bother me, do not disturb me kind of a vibe. He's very independent. But of course, we're friends. And as a friend, I knew that he wouldn't let me be there. And as a PT, of course, he wouldn't let his client to faint on his watch either. But at that moment, I had a suspicion. Well, obviously, it felt nice to be taken care of for me, but also I realized that he was feeling very good about the situation, not about the fact that I was feeling sick, of course, but about the fact that I asked for his help and he helped me. Like, taking care of me was something that gave him pleasure as well in the meantime. So I guess what I'm getting at is, dear ladies, I know that we can do pretty much anything. Maybe we can't really work on the construction site. There are quite a few jobs we cannot do physically, let's face it. Yes, we're independent, we can take care of ourselves, and we have our family and friends. But getting this help, being taken care of by a strong man, is a different ballgame. And I want you to really think about it and accept that help from others, from men. Allow yourself to ask for that help, especially if you're like me and you're having trouble with asking for help and receiving. And that receiving can be in the small gestures, in the form of money. If you're one of those ladies who really struggles going on a date and men paying for picking up the bill, or if you are uncomfortable receiving compliments or gifts, it doesn't even matter from whom, from your male or female friends, colleagues, family members. If you have this inability to receive, I want you to really work on that, because it's incredibly important. The balance between giving and receiving is basically one of the cornerstones of any relationships. So if you have this issue, I want you to give yourself the permission, allow yourself to ask for help and to receive that help, because it's not scary. You don't need to be scared of appearing or feeling or being weak or scared of being rejected. It's actually really, really great. And upon reflecting more on that, I can't say that I've had plenty of relationships over the last 20 plus years, but some of the best memories that I have in various relationships, whether it was my first relationship with my high school sweetheart or one of the toughest, heartbreaking relationships I had after, it was always about this feeling when a man makes you feel safe and secure, when you know that you can rely on him and that you can be just a woman, because at the end of the day, as smart, as strong, as independent, as successful you are not a man. You're a woman. You were created as a woman, and it's amazing. Being a woman is actually really, really great. It's much better. Here in Dubai, we have separate queues for ladies. If it's some kind of a government organization, we need to go and, I don't know, stamp our passports or get our IDs, whatever it may be. So we actually have so many advantages, even though maybe the society is trying to convince us otherwise. So all those memories that I have with people in my relationships, the good memories are about them providing me with this security and safety. I remember I started my new job. It was just the first week, I believe. And even though I had a car, I didn't want to drive. So I would take the metro in Moscow. And it was the first week and I got robbed. So someone just took out my wallet out of my purse. And because I was new, and with my inability to ask for help and to receive, there was no way I would ask my brand new colleagues for money to pay for my lunch on that day. And I shared what had happened to me with my back then boyfriend. And because he knew that I would starve throughout the day, he drove from one part of Moscow to my place of work to feed me, to take me for lunch. And even though that was a rocky relationship that taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful for it, all these years later, for sure, that was such a good sign of someone showing love and appreciation and taking care of his woman. Would I do the same thing for him? Yes, of course, absolutely. But as a man, he would probably sort it out somehow. And him coming all the way and taking me for lunch was absolutely special. And on the contrary, I knew that a certain relationship would never work and that it was over when I realized I cannot ask for help and I would not get that help and I cannot feel secure and safe in that relationship. So I want you to reflect on that and let me know maybe in the comments if you're comfortable sharing whether you had this kind of experiences in your life in relationships with men, irrespective, by the way, what is the status of that relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or just a friendship between a man and a woman. I do believe that those exist. I know that some people think otherwise. Nevertheless, my personal experience throughout my life has shown me that it's possible. It does exist. So yeah, let me know if this resonates with you. And please, dear ladies, learn or maybe relearn how to ask for help and receive that help. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you in the next episode. Take care for now.